And welcome back. My name is Ari. Next to me is Roleza, and we are Activated Mornings this morning. If you were joining us earlier, we had spoken about the son of the Assistant Commissioner of Police charged with firearm and ammunition. So I'm reading from IWN. The son of the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Christopher Benjamin, as well as his co-accused, have been granted bail on firearm and ammunition possession charges. Ashanu Benjamin, a 26-year-old tax officer, and Kimani Gould, a 27-year-old laborer, both of Barley, appeared before the Serious Offences Court on Monday, yesterday, where they pleaded not guilty to charges. Two charges, sorry. They were jointly charged between October 7th and 28th at Arnesville. They had in their possession one Smith & Wesson pistol without a license issued under the Firearms Act. The men were further charged that between the same dates, also at Arnesville, they had in their possession 6 rounds of ammunition without a license issued under the Firearms Act. The prosecutor did not object to bail. He, however, asked for one surety. They were granted bail in the sum of $15,000 with one surety in order to report to the Barley police station. Now,
What do you think about Harry?
I'm interested to see what is going to become of this. Why? Because Christopher Benjamin was vocal the day at the press briefing when the media wasn't allowed to ask questions about firearms, about crime, and what they're going to impose, the penalties they're going to impose on persons caught with firearm. And lo and behold, we don't know. We don't know who the firearm belongs to because, as most persons probably don't know, possession always possesses one of 3 elements: knowledge, intent, and ownership. So we don't know if it is that his son was charged because he was in the vehicle and had knowledge that the firearm was in the vehicle. We don't know if he's charged because the firearm belongs to him. We don't know. We have to hear the case.
Yeah. You know, when you say you make sure and you don't make the mine, I think this is one of those situations where it's unfortunate that the son of an officer has found himself in this position. But you know, I'm trying not to be cynical or to prejudice. Would it be prejudice or prejudge? I'm not sure what's the correct word to use it. But to judge the situation ahead of time in terms of, let's say, that it's not necessarily the full weight of the law would not be applied to him. I don't know, right? I think if ever we were to look at a situation of whether or not the law will be applied, and if we are going to have a fair justice system, it would be with this situation.
Benjamin
Right?
said,
I would,
"Oh, you're not finished.
I would
Continue."
really like to see that I want to believe, this is me always being hopeful, that we would have a transparent and fair society, that his father is going to be hands off with this particular matter. It's Harry, come the man. We being good. We being
I
good.
mean, we had to be
being
realistic.
optimistic.
We had to be
We're
realistic.
being optimistic
I being
that the
realistic.
justice
I
system
being
will
realistic.
do what it's supposed to do. Because really and truly, do you think if they meant to, let's say, cover this up, it wouldn't it have gone away already?
It couldn't have, because it's
Why?
in the news. A lot of
No, so
people
that's what
saw
I'm
it
saying.
happening. People know that it had happened. They just couldn't dismiss the charges.
No, so let me tell you what, right? When I heard of I think it was through a stop and search, right? That's what how the gun was found. It was through a stop and search.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's how it happened, right? If I'm not correct there, someone could always clarify. But what I chuckled with was the officer who stopped the vehicle, or did they recognize the son? Did they know who the son was? Because what I'm saying is that in that instance, if they really meant to let it go away, it could have gone away at that point in time. It can't get away now
People
because it was
saw it.
already in the news, you know.
People saw it.
People
The
s-
youth, the men, they were hanging out regularly. And there's an instance of friends with carrier, but they will bring you back.
But
They were on their way to the
which
football.
friend carried who?
They're smoking and drinking in the vehicle and they're fidgety.
Mm.
So the police suspicious now. That's the rumor. That's the word on the street. The police suspicious now. Stop them and boom, lo and behold, a firearm.
Yeah.
Now, the rumor also on the street is that someone
really
in that vehicle, someone in that vehicle always roam around, with the firearm. So it's just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time. Now we don't know which is which because the footballer was released.
I was just going to ask you, who is the bad company in this case?
We'll find out when the facts of the case are revealed. Now I want to quote Benjamin in the press briefing. He said, "We are working hard to keep everyone safe."
Why you like
but
this?
If I outline, why am I like what?
Like this? Go ahead.
Nah, why am I like what?
Go ahead,
I ain't
Harry.
doing PR for nobody. Everything we're reading in the news. We are working hard to keep everybody safe, but I outlined to you exactly in detail what we are about to do and what we are doing. It will defeat the purpose. Cool. But I will say to you, you will feel us. So expect some inconvenience based on our initiative. Look like somebody feeling the inconvenience first.
So we are feeling it in a sense.
Yeah, he feeling it more than we. We will be
Harry.
seen. A high police presence will be visible throughout our communities and will be present but not so present. And they were present at Andersville. And we'll be there. You don't know where we're there.
And we see the steps towards justice, I suppose, being taken.
He said,
right?
I urge citizens come forward, give information to the police so that we can bring these people who are committing these crimes to justice. Don't wait until it's affecting you to come forward.
I don't like your facial expression. Ari?
What's interesting to me now, the other side, the flip side, the flip side of the coin. What's interesting to me is the prayer session held outside the court as the man answered to gun charges. Now, everybody love a good co-worker who's going to support you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with them having the little prayer session. But according to this story on IWN, they're there, they're praying for their co-worker, they're hoping that gets through what he's got. Because really and truly, it is not just embarrassing for the Assistant Commissioner of Police and his family. It's really embarrassing for this young man.
Yes,
because if it is that he really and truly...
And you know what? What is also interesting too is we tend to have a particular view of criminals, or don't give me that smile.
But you're one of them. But you're one of those people, Roleza, who have this view of criminals.
Just done. I am making a different point today. So brand new this. Stop it. Right? Maybe lose my train of thought. But anyhow, stop it.
Empathy.
All right. So as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by Ari's facial expression. We tend to have this particular view or image of criminals, right? Or gun-toting persons within society. But look at what is interesting here. This young man actually does have a good job. I think the other guy with him, he's a laborer. If I wasn't mistaken, he's a laborer.
That's what the story says.
You know, so it's not a case where necessarily any of these persons are unemployed, right? They're both gainfully employed. So what could cause them to find themselves in this particular situation?
No.
Is it bad manism? Is it ego? What is it? What would allow you to? Why would you want to walk around with a gun in a situation, especially if your life isn't necessarily being harmed?
Remember, there is an interactive program. The number to call 457-9997. Also, the number to WhatsApp, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube. WEFM 99.9 SVG. Now, there's always a flip side to the coin. Before I get into the prayer session, we don't know if it is that the what's the name, Benjamin is just friends with these guys from a long time. They're from the same community, and he decided, let me take a ride and go watch football with my friends. We don't know if it's that, and we don't know the details as yet. Hopefully it's that, because if you see your co-workers support him the way that they are supporting him, it has to be that they believe that he's innocent. And it has to be that he's a good co-worker to them, and he he's respectful to them, and it's someone that they're fond of, or you won't see them turning out the way they turn out.
Right. But also, when we have to look at that, if we're going to branch out and think of other things as well, was he aware? And I'm not putting this on his friend, the other person, the laborer, but was he aware of, let's say, his friend being involved in criminal activities, or was he aware that the gun was even in the vehicle? You know, and as a young man, I want to presume that he's from a good family background. Why would you want to associate yourself with such persons? As I said, I'm not putting it all on the friend, but if that's the case, you know, why is the bird and the feather flocking together in this case?
I don't think it's as simple as that. We're not going clubbing. We're not on the black lineman. We're going watch football. If it is that if it is that the boy, the other one is the one with the firearm, he could not have possibly known that. Or if he knew, he probably dismissed it, right? But
back to the prayer session.
Back to the prayer session. Who was it? Let me. Okay. Someone convinced Eyewitness News not to publish images of the prayer session, raising among our arguments the supposed ethics of taking a video. Ethics? What's ethical about being in court supporting someone who's on a gun charge? No, as I always say, a charge is just the police accusing you of something we don't know. But we really going to bring ethics into this situation? Are we? You have a call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Based on what has happened over the last 23 years or so, I don't see this young man going to jail.
Me neither.
There'll be a way out. Maybe the second guy, it's 2 persons were charged, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the second guy might take the plea. He might plead guilty and let the young man walk. Maybe the prosecutor might withdraw the charges, eventually withdraw the charges. Might plead guilty and pay a fine. This young man ain't going to jail based on how this system we've seen for the last 23 years. Senator Morgan walking. We see other cases of people steal money from government and they get slapped on the wrist. The system is there to fix. There's a godfather in this system to help certain people. If it was Kenton King's son, he'd been up in the river. It would be no bail, and the penalty will come down hard on him. The system favors certain people in this country. It is biased, and it seems to be politically rigged. Yes, we had a DPP from Trinidad one time, Roger Gosport. He arrested the prison superintendent of prison in St. Vincent, all in this administration for killing 2 prisoners. And the late Vincent Breach criticized them, saying he's trying to destabilize the government. The guy eventually, he knows his contract wouldn't have been renewed, eventually resigned and go back to Trinidad. Roger Gosport.
That's interesting. I have to look that up.
Rigged. Yeah, it's all part of the system. Yes.
All right. Thanks for your contribution, caller. Now, someone asked on WhatsApp, was either gentleman licensed to carry a gun according to the story? No, that's why they're being charged. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have another caller. Good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning. Just want to follow up quickly on that last caller. He's so right. He is so right. And once we have this kind of practice in our country, where certain people are highly favored, let me use those words, where certain people are highly favored, or like Roleza, let me touch her, who might be close to somebody in high office or something, you know, Can't carry to jail. Can't send her to jail. He's part of this status quo. Whatever that means. I'm just giving you work to do. What is the status quo? You can't touch certain people in this country. All right? So, I'll tell you something, you younger people have a lot of work to do, I don't know how you're all going to deal with it. And some of you might have political ambition, or you may have to have political ambition to get into power, as some of them love to say, to make a difference. All right? So, as the guy brought up the superintendent of prisons at one time who killed 2 people, and the former DPP Roger Gaspard, who was a no-nonsense person who worked in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He took his work too seriously in a country like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where the powers that be don't want those kind of administrators to make things better. So he resigned and went back to his native land, and where he's doing a fantastic job still. And let me say, but what they brought back to me, that situation with the superintendent of prisons here. Are you aware they built a special, I can't call it jail. They built a special place for him to spend his time, when that case was going on, A special, well, some people say special jail, but are you aware of that?
Yeah, I think I knew of this when I was young, but I can also understand why that could have happened, because would you really want to put him with the general prison population? It may have been for his own safety as well.
Oh gosh, I got how you bring that up. So right away, different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
Right.
It's always different strokes for different folks. Always.
But how could you do that if it's a case where he hasn't necessarily been convicted as yet?
You feel away about the burglars? You
Yes.
feel away about the burglars that it should not
Ari,
be put in certain positions?
we're not
Exactly,
going down
because
that
you
road.
felt violated. It's always different strokes for different folks. Thank you very much, Dave. No, that reminds me of the story that I read a while ago that Grant Connell had said that Shamrock Pear, prosecutor, was actually on a type of punishment, and everybody knows the type of punishment that police issue where they transfer you to certain places after he didn't bring charges. Was it bring or withdraw? I think it was withdraw charges. I'm looking at the story. I'm trying to scan through it, but I'm not seeing it as yet.
This is the with the lack of promotion.
Yes, this is the lack of promotion story.
Right,
I'm trying to remember exactly if it is that. Okay, Pear took a principal position, although he had been previously passed over for promotion. Oh, okay. Pear is said to have told the messenger that on the issue of withdrawing charges, he takes his instructions from the DPP, rather his senior police officers. He was supposed to withdraw a charge from a senior officer driving without due care and attention against a prominent retired executive. And he faced the wrath for that. It's always different strokes for different folks, and this is a case I'm very interested to see. I don't know if he's guilty or not.
Even sometimes when it comes to persons who are not known, or persons who don't have, let's say, friends or family in high places, that sometimes we question what the sentencing was or why it is they even got off. So, I mean, is it that we're expecting that the weight to be a little bit more heavily applied to this young man because of who his father is?
I feel like in the case of Chief Man, I was the only person asking questions.
What do you mean you're the only person asking questions? Nobody understand what happened in that case till now.
Why did this happen? No, in Chief Man case, his whoa, I can't believe I just forgot that word. It's not mitigating, aggravating. It's aggravating factors caused the sentencing, but that was a very, very, very hefty sentence for a gun charge where a gun wasn't
To this day, we don't understand.
recovered.
All of us
But
don't
here, a
understand.
gun was recovered. So I'm very curious to see what the sentencing would be. Whoever they find guilty of the charge, I'm very interested. Whether it's the commissioner's son or if it's the other guy, I'm very, very interested to see what the sentencing would be in this particular case, because it's always been that way. Different strokes for different folks. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Me too, answer to it. I want to see what would happen as well, but I don't want to necessarily say that it's not going to be applied or he is going to get off. I prefer to wait and see what happens and then give my comments. This is me being...
Either side is very interesting, because when we were talking about the ball, you felt strongly and you were saying that these people violate people. Driving around with a gun for what? For what purpose?
Yeah, but so the system is taking place.
Yeah,
it's just
but
that we haven't gotten to the final stage for us to say, okay, it's because he is such and such son why he has gotten off.
But outside of that, there's a
yet.
change. There's a change in how we feel about the situation. When there was the burglars, we don't even know who the burglars are.
I don't need to know who the burglars are.
Exactly.
But
these persons robbed someone home. These guys were going around with firearms.
So you
with
think
a firearm, sorry.
Hold on. Let me speak. So you think that if it was such and such son who was found as a burglar, that I would have had sympathy towards the person?
Yes.
It does. Ari, please.
Yes, that's
Ari,
exactly how I
please.
feel. That's exactly how I feel.
No, Ari,
because it depends on who the people are in situations. People tend to feel differently.
So everybody,
because
you realize what is happening here? Ari is judging me. That's
if
what it is. Ari is judging me.
If it wasn't a worker at what was it? Income tax?
I don't know this man.
If it wasn't a worker at income tax, if it was somebody off the street, people would say, "Oh God, yes, they had gone for truth."
Ari, I do not have sympathy towards the young man. What I'm saying is that I want to see justice take its course, and then I can give my comments.
We'll see. We'll see if justice takes its course. I'm so interested. I'm so interested to see how this case is going to turn out. I'm very, very, very much invested in seeing how this case is going to turn out. And I'm not assuming and I'm not accusing him, because I firmly believe that a charge is police accusing you and not essentially you're committing a crime. I'm very, 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 very,
now you see whole morning you had this smile on your face as you start to talk about this
because
topic.
It's hypocrisy.
But how can you say it's hypocrisy if it hasn't if the outcome hasn't been determined as yet?
The outcome hasn't been determined with the burglary. It hasn't even reached the court process.
Somebody help me out here with Ari this morning. Please. Somebody who listened to the discussion before, help me out with Ari. Tell Ari it can't be the same thing. It's not the same
It's
thing.
always different strokes for different folks. Depending on who you are, people look at situations differently. And it's always interesting to see. For me personally, it's always interesting to see how these situations turn out. Now, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about the Kittian Prime Minister and his opinions on his call back in about 5 minutes after the ad break. We're going to talk about the Kittian Prime Minister's view on CXC, and then we'll talk about the 30K that was stolen from the farmer in Barley.
All right, let's go.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean Islands. Providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agent SwiftPack Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
General Hardware still has the best prices on steel, lumber, and plywood. So go on, compare prices. And if by chance you find a better price, no stress. Just talk to the General. And they will beat that price plus give you special priority delivery. Yes, General Hardware offers free island-wide delivery on most purchases, so you never have to worry about getting your goods on site on time. Plus, shopping at General Hardware is a pleasant experience with friendly, knowledgeable staff always ready to serve. What more could you wish for, huh? So come to General Hardware for proper service, lowest prices, free delivery, and see why nobody beats the General. Nobody.
Do you want to feel clean or refreshed after using the bathroom? Whether at home, work, or play? Welcome to My Smart Toilet Seat. All of our products wash your private parts after using the bathroom without the use of your hands. Let's hear what our national table tennis champion, Damian Dublin, has to say.
I tried it and it works. There are 4 options. Simply add an attachment to your existing toilet seat or choose a non-electric seat, or better, an electric seat that washes and dries you with warm water and air. Lastly, get a complete smart toilet that also flushes itself. What are you waiting for? Get your smart toilet seat today. Be smart, be refreshed, be clean. Be a winner like me.
Our smart toilet seat is available throughout St. Vincent at retail outlets with the orange flags. You can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website at justwashit.vc.
WEFM, the clean fresh sound.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, and we're back this morning. Before we move on to the topic of the Kittian Prime Minister, I just want to read a few things to wrap up the last topic we just, I don't even want to say briefly spoke about because it was a brief. Viola on the live says, although they were carrying a gun, the burglary of a home is different. The burglar broke into an occupied dwelling and took items without the owner's permission. Therefore, I can see how it can be looked at differently. You agree?
Of course, I agree.
What would I, Viola? What I would say in response to that is, this gun was being taken to a football match with foreigners and locals alike, of a family-friendly event. You are entering a family-friendly event with an unlicensed firearm. For what? What was the intent? That's the question. What was the intent? And says, this time I'm agreeing with Ari. They already know what will happen, where he will not be found guilty and get away with it. They just have to play it out in court to satisfy the general public. I agree. Different strokes for different folks. Someone says, morning, it's funny that you're talking about this, and a big lawyer of the NDP private vehicle was involved in a robbery and nothing came out of it.
Oh,
I still feel the same, whether it's UAP, NDP. Once you're of a certain class and you have certain positions, nothing does happen in them situations. Not one thing. And people look at it differently. Because burglary is violating you. But when the bank robs you, it's not the same violation. But that's all I had to say on that topic. Roleza, you have anything that you want to say?
Nah, I don't
Exactly.
say my part.
So we're moving on to
how
Terrence.
I am. Once I say what I say, I don't.
We're moving on to Dr. Terrence Drew this morning. You want to take the lead?
All right, I shall. All right, so we're looking at a topic, and it came out of a news item that was read yesterday morning, which I thought interesting. for us to delve into a little bit more, right? So it's a relatively short article. So it says soft skills critical, says St. Kitts PM. Attaining as many Caribbean or CXC certificates as possible should not be the focus of regional education systems. St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew shared that view yesterday as he urged leaders to ensure fewer students were left behind and that more children learn soft skills. You have students who may have 10 or 12 CXC subjects, and then you ask them to sit and do an interview or have a conversation. When you're looking at the paper, you see the CXCs, but when you hear the conversation, there's a significant mismatch. Therefore, I would like to ask CXC to respond to that. It's not only the academics, how much you get in maths, in math, in English, but are you developing the soft skills, which to me sometimes are after a certain point are more important than the academics, Drew asked. He was delivering the feature address at the third CXC Ministerial Summit, which was held in Accra Beach Hotel in Christchurch. All right, so he was talking about the development of soft skills, and just to
what are soft skills?
Right, I was just going to pull it up to give you the proper definition. So soft skills are usually are termed as personal attributes that enables someone to interact effectively and harmoniously with other people.
Okay.
All right. So in essence, he's saying that we're producing persons who are good on paper, I suppose, in terms of their academics, but that interpersonal skill that is needed, we do not see that happening, or they're not turning out those same type of skills. And we have a caller at this time.
Sorry.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, caller. You're live.
Speaking about the gentleman there with the firearm. Well, to be serious, the system deals fair and honest. You see, as first offense with the young man there, they will charge him as a young man and first offense. And he innocent until proven guilty. We don't know the facts.
We don't.
About the firearm, because if you listen and read about the court system, a lot of poor people get charged for firearms, and especially first offense. So he's not going to be special. His father is a nice gentleman, but not because his father in a high position. That you think they're going to charge him for the first offense, you know?
Well, he already charged. He already charged.
Well, it's a city outcome. I think that's what he means.
In court, you charge money, and I put a young man in jail. In court, you charge him some money at $10,000 to $20,000 or something like that. So
you're saying that you believe a fine would be imposed?
Yeah, fine. You charge a fine. You know, but it's system fair, because across the board they say that happened to rich and poor in Vincent.
I've been a court reporter for years. It is not fair. I've sat through a lot of cases. It is not fair. We'd like it to be fair, but it is not fair.
Yeah, man, it's fair justice going across the board, man.
No, it
fair
is not.
Across the board.
Sorry, I disagree with that.
Yeah. They know we charge a whole set of people there for firearm, and some of them second offense and charge them $15,000 to $20,000.
So keep in mind,
it's how your lawyer speak to him.
But keep in mind that
how your lawyer speak, how your lawyer defend you on everything across the board. You might say so because it is, you know.
Keep in mind,
clear and fair, man.
It is not clear and fair. But keep in mind that the Prime Minister and the acting commissioner of police pointed out that they would be coming down harsher on persons charged with these offenses if found guilty. Keep that in mind. So it can't be the same thing that was happening all the time happening now. That's why I'm interested to see what's going to happen.
Well, they need to revamp. We sting with the amnesty with firearm. That guy work for sure. That one guy work. But you know, it's system fair and just, man. Yeah, the system when we read about it, when we know. They charge poor people, they charge their money. And especially for offense, and your lawyer defend and speak for you. The system fair across the board, man.
All right.
So we both are. It's just speculation at this point in time. Let's wait to see what happens. Okay.
I'll definitely say the system isn't fair across the board. Joshua said the PM is correct in SVG. Most fail terribly in English. I wonder as what. You know, sometimes you say something and you're not conscious of what you're saying. I think Joshua had mentioned how the
No,
How does a road collapse
so
or capsize or something like
right. No, we're back to the topic of the soft skills. That's what we.
that? Yeah,
Right, I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what he was making it in relation to. All right. So yeah.
Oh,
so,
that's what it is. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that's
okay.
what it's in relation to. All right. So this is a thing, right? As I think we would have stated before, as I stated before here, I think that there are instances where I realize that employers are quote unquote complaining about the fact that so students are turning out with. All right, I'll take over.
So I've probably said this before, but I do believe that.
We have a call.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Didn't even see that there.
Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hey, caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Ari. How are you? Good
I am
morning.
well. I'm
I can't
well.
pronounce the
Roleza.
my name Melissa. My name
Roleza.
is I'm not gonna bite my tongue.
It's fine. It's fine.
My name is Anita. I'm calling from Toronto.
Morning,
But
Anita.
Ari, yeah, I heard you repeat multiple times that nothing is gonna happen. You don't think that is a profound statement to make? You should say,
I
I'm awaiting and see justice served, but you keep saying that nothing
I
is
said
gonna
I
happen.
believe. I say I don't know if he's guilty or not, and I'm interested to see what going to be the outcome
Yeah,
because I believe nothing's going to happen.
I heard all that.
Okay.
But if you play back your own self, there were times when you said nothing is going to happen. And if I heard wrong, my apologies. But I'm pretty sure that in one of your sentences, you said nothing is going to happen.
Well, it's possible. It is possible that I said that in one of my. Maybe I have to listen.
This is when he's so passionate about something, yeah.
But it's how I feel.
I know. I listen to
I
him.
feel. I
Yeah,
feel
but
like.
listen. Yeah, but here you are casting. You're entitled to your opinion, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're already casting judgment on the judicial system that nothing is going to happen. And as the young lady said, sometimes we judge on because of whom someone is. Is it because he is the assistant commissioner son or whatever it is? He could be guilty as well as not being guilty. And I don't know. I don't think I don't think that it was right to make such a statement. You can say that you hope justice will be served as any other one because it doesn't mean whom he belongs to. It could be a vagrant on the street, it could be anybody. I don't favor whom who belongs to that justice shouldn't be served. But to say nothing is gonna happen, I would like you to retract that. And if I heard wrong, my apologies. But you play back your recording and see if in one of your sentences you didn't say nothing is gonna happen.
All right.
Okay, my friend.
Thank you,
You have a
Anita.
pleasant day. I am an ardent listener. Every morning I don't really call. Just
I love it when it's interactive.
Let me tell you what's happened, right? Is when Ari makes certain statements, the people who we don't even realize who listening is that's when we hear from you guys. So thank you very much.
I know because I called someone and I can't remember what it was.
Most
I
likely it
thought
was
you
the
made a-
burglary.
Exactly. Oh, you still remember? Okay.
All right.
Right. That called me out. Okay, my
All
dear.
right.
You
Have a
have
great day.
pleasant day.
All right.
Same to you, my friend. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So I want to clarify something, right? Because I have a way of speaking generally. So when I say nothing is going to happen, I don't mean exactly nothing is going to come out of it. But as I said, I've been a reporter for many years, a court reporter for many years, and I've seen a lot of cases. I could say this. There was a case where someone with a prominent surname was charged for, I think, brandishing his firearm. And his license was taken away. I don't remember if he was issued a fine or if the case was dismissed. That for sure I cannot remember because it was a few years ago. But I do remember that his firearm was returned to him. So,
All right,
what became of it?
So it's not always a case of history repeating itself. All right,
Well,
so this is what I'm saying.
in a lot
Let's
of cases,
wait
it is. That is why That is why lawyers quote previous cases,
Yes,
because in a lot of
yes,
a lot of the situations, it's the same thing over and over again. Now back to the statement from the Kittian premise. I have to say that I always felt like the introduction of a lot of clubs is important in secondary school. So you see, like how Bishops has the farming, St. Vincent Grammar School has journalism, cycling, that sort of thing. There's
Right.
public speaking. There's Toastmasters. You see, I feel like those are very, very important in addition to your subjects. And I'm glad that I'm seeing more of it pop up in the secondary schools. No, I think St. Martin has a business club. I like to see those pop up in schools, because then you learn the interpersonal skills necessary to have in the real world. I often wonder if those, is it Guyanese? Those are usually the ones that
The
set
highest,
15,
right.
16 subjects.
They
I
have
wonder if
some
they
amount
have
of
time.
subjects.
Yeah, I wonder if they have time for those things.
But the thing of it is that I would not necessarily put this down to a case of CXC, but it's more of the educational system. Now, I know that the thing is to be able to get students through the school system to actually have the subjects that they attain, right? I've always found it ridiculous. Anything for me, this is my personal opinion here, anything past 12 subjects is not necessary. That's just my opinion, right? I do understand and appreciate a student probably wanted to test their skills, test their knowledge to see if, let's say, if they have a goal of achieving, let's say, the 20 subjects, if they'll be able to accomplish it, but that's fine. If that's the case, if they're doing it for those particular reasons, well, then fine. But in terms of just this subject attainment for the sake of having a significant quantity of subjects behind your belt, no, I am not in agreement with that, right? The thing of it is that the education system now, yes, while it is, I know that the outcome has to be the certificate, so the number of subjects that you get. I think sometimes within the school system, it's a way that you incorporate real life or real world examples through learning. So even in the English classes, I remember, well, when I taught and when I was a student, even in our English language classes, we would do or have situations where we would have mock interviews, right? But this, I think, would have been around Form 3, not necessarily 4 and 5, when you're pushing subjects and SBAs being done and that sort of stuff, right? But I think that it needs to be incorporated into the curriculum, especially at Form 5, in whatever way possible, because this is when the students are leaving school. Now, not everybody is necessarily going to go on to tertiary education, where it can be reinforced there at upper 6. In terms of that world of work preparation. But I think that there is a serious disconnect. We are churning out robots, in a sense, who are just paper qualified. I know the other day I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's in a managerial position, and she's saying that there are persons who are returning from studies, and there's a little bit of an entitlement on their part, in that they think just because they've had these number of subjects that they're supposed to be viewed in a particular way, whereas they're not able to sit down and interact or work with others in a particular environment. Even when you go to school or when you go to university and you have group projects to do. Now, I know I was never a fan of group projects because I hate waiting on people. If something there to do, I am going to just do it. But the thing of it is that type of personality may not always blend well in a work environment when you have to rely on or you have to work along with your coworkers, or if you're in a managerial position, to know how you're going to speak to someone, let's say who has to respond to you, to answer to you. So it's not just necessarily for me about the subject attainment, but somehow within the school curriculum, especially let's say in English classes or even in office administration, principles of business, whatever it is, you incorporate those soft skills so that students can be a little bit more well-rounded, a little bit more molded when they have to go into that work environment.
They're talking, and I just remember how much I hated EDPM. Not because EDPM is a bad subject, but because I was in arts. And I feel like, I don't know if the culture changed, but it used to be science and business are the most important classes. They deserve the focus. And the general and arts classes get less of the focus because they believe that the less academically inclined students are in those classes. I was in arts because I wanted to be in arts.
I was in arts as well. And I remember I think my mother wasn't too happy with me being in arts class. Mom, if you're listening, yes, I do remember. her not being too happy with me choosing arts, because the thing of it is that I loved history and geography. I did not want to choose.
Yes, I wanted to do
that
both.
That was exactly the reason why
I wanted to both
arts.
history and geography. I love history and I wanted to do geography. Geography was very interesting to me. Right. Shout out Mr. Boucher at the grammar school. Geography was very interesting to me.
Right, and that's the thing. I was never really a fan of streaming in that sense, because I always felt that I prefer to be able to do these subjects that I felt I would have been able to do well in.
Yeah, but it's your choice. They always gave you the choice, but
right.
But it always was that the business and science subjects are the most important, and the smartest students go.
You know how interesting it was because I went to high school. How interesting it was. Our arts class only had 12 students in it.
I could see that.
Tell you.
I could see that because oftentimes they join them. They join arts and technical or arts and general.
Yes,
oftentimes they join them
as well. Yeah.
But I remember that we were the trial classes for EDPM.
I know if it's
when lucky you. When they introduced it, we were supposed to be doing IT, and they're like, oh no, give them EDPM. Let's see if it works. Why not do that for the business and the science classes? Because nope, those are the more important classes. Those are the ones that are coming out with the subjects that we want. Yeah. It's supposed to be the same across the board. As the Prime Minister rightfully said, Prime Minister Drew. I don't want anybody just tuning in and think I'm misquoting PM Gonzalez. PM Drew. He rightfully said we need the soft skills. Yeah. And it translates into management. I know of someone who is in a managerial position without a degree, and she's an amazing manager.
But I've always told persons that degrees, again, it's not applicable to everybody. And I'm not saying that degrees are not important. They are important. I would advocate for persons to go and get them. But by themselves, they're not everything. Right? You can't just say that you have a degree and then expect that this somehow makes you more important of a person than someone else. You're in a managerial position. It can't just be because I'm the manager, you do as I say. It's not going to work. It never works. If you're going to come down with that high-handed approach on anybody, it's not going to work. So this is where, as we again emphasizing, the soft skills have to come into play. You want for somebody to carry out a job or the task that you're going to assign to them. How do you speak to that person? Are you going to say this goes or something like they always say? There's a thing that people always say. Somebody said to me once that really rubbed me the wrong way. This is what you're paid to do. But it's the way in which the person said it.
No, right? That's what you're paid to do.
And that just ticked me off one time.
That's what you're paid to do. I know. I'm somebody that I believe if I pay somebody to do something, I expect it to be done.
No, but you see what happened, Ari, and I'm saying in this case, it's the way in which they said it. They did not give clear instructions. And if you do not give clear instructions, there's a possibility that I'm going to be confused. Right?
Okay. Joshua, EDPM is electronic document preparation management. It's more of it's IT, but more of a secretary-based IT. It's more about typing and getting familiar with Word documents and Excel, such as Excel and PowerPoint and the others.
Okay. Yeah. So, it's
Joshua made it funny.
It's just one of.
He said degrees functions best at thermostats.
They do, but the reality too of it, Ari, is that I view them as a safety net in a sense, where it allows you to.
I don't view my degree as a.
It allows you to be able to command the salary that you want. But so let me go back to another situation. I remember.
A minute. Huh?
Oh, so I need to speak fast. All right. So I remember there was a time when I was going through some applications for a particular position, and the person's education or their learning or their training ended at a degree. And I'm there saying, what else came after this degree? Do you think that just having this degree alone qualifies you for the job? What other activities or groups were you involved in for you to be able to, let's say, learn organizational skills, to learn leadership skills? It's not just about having that degree and thinking that alone is going to command, number one, the salary that you want, or to me, prove your competency to be in a managerial role.
All right. So the time is now 8:55. We're gonna break here and we'll come back with your ECCB currency exchange rates, your lotto results, and your nostalgia.